Hi, thanks for choosing my channel. My name's Tammy, and this is part 2 of what is self-love and how do I self-love? How do I love myself? Where I give steps how to work towards self-love. All right, so if you haven't seen the part 1 of this video, I will put the link in the description. And I suggest that you go to that first and then come back to this one. All right. So if you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. And let me get started. Okay, so on the last video, I was talking about how we need to question our beliefs and question something before we adopt it as our and put it into our belief system. And one of the things I wanted to share with you is a story from my personal life. How this affected me, how we can carry things from childhood and not even realize that they are affecting us our whole life without necessarily even realizing it until we learn about this. Okay, so when I was about 12, I want to say I was around 12, 13 years old. My parents were divorced, and my dad had made a comment about me gaining weight. And, it's like, whatever, okay. There's, and looking back now, I really wasn't even, I wasn't overweight by any means. I had just wasn't skinny anymore. And so I don't know how far apart it was. It was within probably a 6-month period or less that my dad's friend came over to our house once. Keep in mind, my parents were divorced. My dad wasn't there at the time. My dad used to pick us up, and see us like a couple times a month. And so my mom was a beautician, and we had a beauty shop in our home. So my dad's friend would still go there once in a while to get his hair done by my mom. My dad's friend came over, and I remember sitting on my kitchen floor, and he had walked in, and the first thing he did was make a comment about my weight. He said I was getting fat. And I feel like at that time I was like, well, that's odd. Why does he care? What is, like, why would you make such a rude comment? Or, like, why would somebody say that? What is wrong with you? But I was younger at the time. And so what happened was, fast forward, 20, 30 years or less, let's go even less. Fast forward, I get into these relationships and I have body issues, okay? Now, I don't know where this stems from. I don't remember this. I don't remember what happened then. I don't even necessarily realize I have body issues, but I always needed my husband's to validate me being beautiful, or being my body being good enough. Like I felt like maybe my body wasn't pretty enough or good enough. And I required their validation, and guess what? I wasn't getting it. They were reflecting to me the opposite. Not intentionally. They didn't even realize they were doing it. But I had like not much with my first husband. My second husband, it came out more. He, you know, was sneaking and watching porn and stuff like that. And so that affected me. And it wasn't so much that he was watching porn. It was maybe the type of woman that he was watching, that I wasn't that kind of person, right? It was like the opposite of what I look like, okay? And then into my last relationship, that husband I had passed away actually, but my last relationship it turned into actual porn addiction, which really extremely affected my self-esteem, because it got to the point to where I really felt not beautiful enough, and that he had to turn to pornography in order to get off, which, I understand that's not the case, but that's what was being reflected to me at the time. Because during this period of time, I hadn't awakened, I hadn't come to all these understandings and stuff. So, as you can see, it was being reflected to me repeatedly, how I felt about myself. Okay, I wasn't good enough. My body wasn't good enough. I wasn't pretty enough, or sexy enough, or whatever, right? So what happens is you will literally go through the same thing, the same lesson, over and over and over and over again until the lesson is learned. And a lot of times we never learn the lesson. That's how come we end up in the same relationships, just a different person. Or, you know what I mean? Like, we end up in the same situation. Maybe the circumstances are slightly different than the last time, but the lesson, the overall lesson, is still the same. You will keep looping and looping and looping until the lesson is learned. Maybe a different body, different circumstances, different situation, but the lesson will be the same. So I had actually done a meditation that is for healing and shadow work, which helped me to realize where that came from. And it took me directly to that point when I was like 12, 13 years old, to both those situations where at the time you think that's just innocent and that's something that's going to pass. But no, it got stored into my belief system. Somebody else, so in other words, my dad at the time and his friend at the time, who by the way were both police officers, my dad at the time had distorted belief that you needed to look a certain way, because I was by no means, overweight or obese. I was pretty much just average. I had gone to being maybe a little bit skinnier to being pretty much average, if anything, a couple pounds overweight. So, but because of their comments, I developed this belief that you basically have to be a toothpick or look like a freaking porn star in order to be attractive. So that became like what was shown and reflected to me into my reality. And now I see and understand how society has programmed people, programmed our society, I should say, that you need to look a certain way in order to be beautiful or to be worthy or to be loved and this and that. And so many of us are buying this shit up, and it's all bullshit. It's all based to keep our vibrations down, to keep us dumbed down, and to keep us buying products. And there's so much to it. But here's the thing, it wasn't true. I was not unworthy. I was good enough. But I had adopted the belief because of somebody else's distorted perception of what I needed to be. Well, this is just an example of how easy something can get stored into your belief system, into your file folder, okay, and you don't even realize it happened, and then you end up living with it throughout your life, and it affects you negatively. And unless you come to an understanding on how all this works, then you're going to end up living with these distorted beliefs and causing you, a lot of pain and heartache and stuff. But these are lessons. That's one of the reasons why we come here. These are lessons. But if you understand this, it makes it easier. You understand energy and all this and how your subconscious works. It makes it so much easier for you to move past these, grow, evolve, learn, So another belief is, people, a lot of people are programmed to believe that you have to work hard in order to make money. You have to work hard, and that's the right thing to do, and that is conditioned into people. That's basically programming and conditioning. And it doesn't mean that you can't work hard. I'm just saying is if you believe that you have to work hard in order to be worthy or in order to be worth anything or to make any money or to succeed in life, then you will work your ass off for every dime that you get. The universe will make sure that you work hard because that's in your belief system. Okay? Just so you know, that's just a program. That's just a belief. There are people who do not work hard at all and they make a shit ton of money, okay? And they live a very happy, fulfilling life. Because guess what? They have a different belief system. There are people out there who work smart, not hard. Okay? So neither way is wrong or right, okay? It's just a matter of belief system. That's all it is. It's a matter of programming and conditioning. What you've taught and what you have stored into your file folder, your subconscious, that is turned into your belief. Because if you hear something enough, you turn it into a belief. If you typically that's how it works. If you're programmed and you repeat something enough, then it gets stored in there. So, that's just an example, Do you want to put in your belief system? See, that's a limiting belief. In my opinion, it's a limiting belief that you have to work hard in order to succeed in life. That's very limiting. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's limiting. Because then you're going to work your ass off for every fucking dime you make. And that's okay if that's what you want, but most people don't want to sit and work that hard. Who wants to sit and spend their life like that? Most people want to enjoy life. So what I'm trying to say is that belief isn't wrong or right, but it is limiting. And that is a very distorted masculine energy belief. That is a distorted masculine belief. Because everybody has masculine and feminine energy within them. No matter what their physical gender is, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. And through the age of Pisces, we have gone through this patriarchal site where we've been in this patriarchal society, and the masculine energy has been in control during the age of Pisces, and it has been distorted to the point to where the masculine energy has been distorted so much, and that's how come we have so much control, fear, overwork, this modern day slavery system, that people are tired of, just having to, work, 40 to 80 hours a week just to survive. That was not created by a woman. It wasn't even created by just a healthy masculine energy. That is a very distorted masculine energy. All right, so step number 6. Stop seeking outside validation. And I'll use my own example for this. And, the experience I shared with you earlier was that I needed external validation from my husband or whoever, my husband, that I was beautiful. I needed them to tell me I was beautiful. And beauty was very important to me because, I grew up with these body issues. And I always sought their validation. I don't need that validation anymore. I have my own validation. I don't let people on the outside, I don't need people outside of me to validate anything about me anymore. If you don't think I'm beautiful, I don't give a shit. You don't affect me. What affects me is what I believe about myself now. So, another thing too, I think I started to say and then didn't finish, is our birth charts can influence us. So, for instance, I am ruled by Venus, and Venus is about love and beauty. So beauty is very important to people ruled by the planet Venus. And people ruled by other planets have other things that are more important to them. So depending on your birth chart, at the time you were born, those things may influence certain aspects, certain beliefs and stuff. Just like for me, beauty is important. So for me to have that experience when I was younger that caused me body issues, and then always needing validation from somebody else that I was beautiful. And obviously I had the mirror reflection reflecting back to me that I wasn't. Because that was my core belief due to the experiences that I had when I was younger, that I didn't know that I had adopted that and never questioned it. Okay? Moving forward. Okay, so vanity and looks have nothing to do with self-love, okay? Self-care does. Self-care, but that's different than having to dress a certain way or wear makeup or, be in style or this or that. That's only important to certain people. But when people are typically, I used to, like years ago, I did not love myself, and I was embarrassed to go anywhere without makeup on. Like, I was terrified. I wouldn't even answer the door without makeup on. That's how bad it was. I literally hid underneath my makeup. Now, I thought I was pretty with my makeup on and all my hair done and all that stuff. But once you took my makeup off, I was, I was scared for people to see the real me, So if you were hiding underneath these things, then you might want to take a look at that. Okay, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wearing makeup, but I am saying, are you hiding behind it? If you're hiding behind it and you're afraid to be seen without it, then you need to start asking yourself some questions. So we need to be balanced. Self-love is more about balance. We need to have a balanced health. There's like gym rats and stuff. Nothing against going to the gym and stuff, but if all you're focused on is your looks or your bodybuilding, and you're not focused on your mental and emotional health and well-being, then that's not going to help you in any way either. Okay, we need balance between mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual health. Okay, if you're just solely diving into one, and another thing too is this is not your fault if this is you, because we haven't been taught any better. We haven't been taught that emotional and mental health is important. We know, people lose it and need, to go to counseling or whatnot, but it's important to focus on mental and emotional health just as much as your physical health. And on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and say I am not a doctor. Okay? But when taking physical advice, just know that, and again, I'm not a doctor, but just know that our Western medicine system is not what you think it is. They are programmed to support Big Pharma. Okay? It is not a healthcare system. It is a sick care system. They do not profit off of healthy people. And Big Pharma does not cure anything. Okay, it band-aids symptoms. It does not heal or cure any symptoms, and it never will, because they don't profit off of that. We already have the cures to everything. They will not release them though to the public because they cannot profit off of them, and they do not want a healthy public. Okay. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. I don't care if you believe me or not, but that's how it is. So what my point to saying that is the FDA is mostly funded by Big Pharma. Okay, so the FDA does not give you proper health advice. So when considering that your diet and health needs, you really need to question things and listen to your body. Okay, So another thing is that we all have masculine and feminine energies within us, and the masculine and feminine energies need to be balanced. When my dog Nova, the masculine and feminine energies need to be balanced, and when they're not balanced, if they're unbalanced, which they typically are, then that leads to these distortions and imbalances in our life and our behavior and our belief system. So, learn more about the masculine and feminine energies and what's distorted and what's healthy. Because right now we live in a very distorted masculine energy world, basically. And part of what I teach is the new earth that we're shifting into. Not everybody is shifting into new earth. A lot of people are, but a lot of people are choosing to stay in the third dimensional old earth energies, which is that distorted masculine energy system that we call the matrix. So the new earth energies are balanced. We're bringing the feminine energy back into the picture, and the energies are balanced, and people will be balanced and healthy. So if you don't understand the new earth concept, watch one of my videos on new earth. I'll try to remember to link that below in the description. Okay, so number 8 is remember, energy is everything, and everything is energy. So number 8 is focus on what you have, not what on you lack. Okay? So if you are focused on what you are lacking in your life, that is going to pull you into depression, into lower vibrational energies, and that is all part of the law of attraction, which I talked about in the first video. And if you don't understand the law of attraction, click on go check out one of my other videos on the law of attraction and energy, frequency, and vibration. Okay, so like I said, if you're focused on lack, then you are in a lower vibrational state. You are in lack. Remember, I said you attract what you are, not what you want. So if you are in a state of lack mentally, you are going to be attracting and pulling in more lack. Okay? Versus if you're in a healthier state or a state of abundance and feeling that your emotions and what your emotions are helping pull your next reality in. So if you are feeling abundant and secure, you will be pulling more of that into your reality. Okay? And let your reality be your gauge to tell you, what your feelings and your reality are your gauge to tell you where you are at on a vibrational scale. If you're feeling lack in a certain area, if you're feeling fear, if you're having experiences that don't feel very pleasant, those are your guide to where your vibration is or where you have been, because what you're experiencing now is a result of your past energy. Okay? So with that being said, if you're experiencing the need or neediness to be loved, and this is number 10, by the way, if you're experiencing, let's see, did I do number 9? Yeah. Okay. Number 9, let your reality be your gauge. So number 10, if you are experiencing like the feeling of needing somebody to love you, needing somebody in your life, feeling desperate, you will not be attracting somebody into your life because you are feeling the want. You are feeling needy. So what is that? That is being in a state of lack. You attract what you are, not what you want, okay? So you will attract more things that reflect that to you. More things to keep you in that neediness and that wanting feeling, okay? Hope that makes sense to you. Let's see. You could also attract somebody into your life, but they will reflect back to you your true core beliefs, okay? So you could attract somebody, but they're not going to give you what you want, okay? They're going to give you what you are. So it would be like a karmic relationship showing you, reflecting back to you how you feel. So for instance, if you're feeling the neediness to have somebody love you, you could attract a partner. Chances are you probably won't attract anybody, but if you're with somebody, your partner could attract, your partner will probably start showing you or for reflecting back to you, like they're not going to give you the love that you're wanting to feel from them. They're not going to give you the affection or whatever it is that you're desiring from them, because you're feeling the need for that. You're feeling needy. You're feeling the lack. So you will be given that back in return. More lack, more things, more of what you don't want. Versus if you are, feeling abundant, feeling love, and loving yourself and receiving that from yourself, you will receive that more in your external reality. I hope that makes sense. Okay, number 11, being a doormat. Okay, think about it. Would somebody who loved themselves accept being treated like a doormat? Would they treat themselves like a doormat? And would they accept being treated like shit or like a doormat? No. And same with being a doormat. Someone who loves themselves doesn't put up with toxic behavior anymore. They don't create the toxic behavior anymore. They don't put up with the toxic behavior anymore. So if you're in a relationship that's toxic, if there's toxic energy going on, you need to evaluate that and ask yourself, is this still serving me? Is this healthy? Because if you love yourself, you're not going to be in that type of you're not going to be in a toxic relationship. And you're not going to create toxicity. You're not going to accept being a doormat and walked on. And, you definitely, with all that being said, you still forgive anybody, but you just stop accepting it. You don't put up with it. You walk out of those type of situations. You go to healthier situations. So if you're in any kind of a toxic relationship or accepting a toxic or abusive behavior, you need to start evaluating that and ask those questions that I talked about in the first video, which I will have a link to in the description below. Video number 1. This is part 2. And number 12 is, and this is probably one of the most important things besides understanding energy, frequency, and vibration, is doing what is called shadow work. Okay, this is where you find out, you ask all these questions, there's meditations, and I will try to get one up. I don't have one currently, but a meditation that helps guide you back to where your trauma wounds happened, where your emotional and trauma wounds happened, so that you can go back and heal them. Because once you heal these, you will be healthy and whole. Right now, you're fragmented. And it's the healing of all your past wounds that helps complete you in self-love. Okay? And raises your frequency. This is how you ascend. This is part of the purification process in ascension to New Earth. And it heals you so that you stop repeating the same lessons. It helps you to learn the lessons so you stop looping and repeating the same lesson over and over and over. It helps you to see what's going on and understand it, and understand where it came from, why, how, when, all that. So if you don't know what shadow work is, just Google shadow work. Okay, there's a lot of good teachers out there. Eventually, I will probably put some up, but that probably won't be any time within the next couple months at least. Okay, and number 13, forgiveness. A lot of people don't understand what forgiveness really is. We are hurt, and we were hurt, and we think forgiveness is making it okay of what the other person did, and that's not true. Okay, forgiveness is for you. It's not so much for the other person, it's for you. Okay? What you need to know is you cannot hold that resentment. It's like not forgiving somebody is like swallowing poison but expecting the other person to die. Okay? That's not how it is. You're the one being poisoned when you are holding that resentment. You are the one being poisoned, not the other person. It may affect them too as well, but the forgiveness is for self-healing. It's saying, I'm not going to let you hold me as your victim anymore. As of now, I am taking control. I'm taking sovereignty. I am going to heal. Unless you still have some need and to be the victim, then go ahead. Because some people still get something from being the victim. Some people, and this may trigger some people, but some people get attention or feed off that attention from being the victim. Okay? And some people are just not even consciously evolved enough to move out from that yet. So forgiving somebody is releasing yourself, releasing the resentment. It doesn't mean that you're saying it's okay what you did to me. It means that you're not going to hold on to that poison anymore. Okay? Because that will literally cause disease in your body. That's stored as energy that can turn into disease in your body. So the importance, another thing too, is you cannot hold resentment and not forgive somebody, but expect to be forgiven by other people for what you've done. You have to forgive, okay? And you especially have to forgive to ascend. Forgiveness is part of healing. And remember, forgiving is not about making the other person pay or not pay, okay? Like karma, karma will deal with that. That person who harmed you will they will receive exactly what they deserve in their own, in perfect timing, okay? That is universal law. So by forgiving, though, you are releasing that poison. You are releasing that energy of resentment, hate, fear, all anger, all that from, it's all energy. You are releasing that and letting it go. And this can take time, but you have to work on it, okay? Nobody can make you do this, but it is necessary for self-love and for new earth ascension and for raising your frequency, okay? And there's probably some videos on there about how to forgive. I think it really just, number one, first of all, is realizing what it is, and then set the intention to do it. Okay, those are the most important steps. Number 14 is setting intentions. Okay, intentions are very powerful. So set your intentions for self-love. I intend to love myself. I intend to have self-love for myself. I intend to have unconditional love for myself and others. These are just some things you can say. Okay, affirmations are amazing. Affirmations are amazing, but setting the intention is what counts. And then, of course, number 15 is positive affirmations. Okay, I am love. I am self-love. I am confident. I am worthy. I am worthy of love. I am valuable. Okay, these are all very healthy, positive, high vibrational statements. The I am is extremely powerful. All right, and number 16, listen to 432 hertz music. If you don't know what that is, just ask Google or Siri to play 432 hertz music, or you can say play 432 hertz music for self-love. Play 432 hertz music for raise my vibration, or raise positive vibration. 432 hertz is what our standard music tuning used to be before the powers that be decided they needed to change it to, I believe, 440 hertz is the standard tuning now, I believe. 17 is, I think I kind of went over it before. It talks about, again, I am not a doctor. My personal belief is to do what you can to stay away from anything Big Pharma offers, because they only profit off of sick people. They do not have, their interest is not in you being healthy. Because if everybody was healthy, they would go out of business. And that is why there is so many side effects for everything that you take. Because the idea is that if you're on something, if you start taking something, it takes a couple weeks to get through your system. And a couple weeks later, you'll start getting new symptoms. So the medication will typically mask whatever symptoms you're having. It will never cure them. It will just mask them, band-aid the symptoms that you are having. It doesn't cure them. And it doesn't get to the core cause of the issue. So even though your symptoms are band-aided, the core cause is still there. Okay, so a couple weeks later, you've been on the medication. Now it's had time to go through your system. Now you end up with new symptoms. These symptoms are actually caused from the medication itself. But you don't know that because a couple weeks have passed by and you're not linking two and two together. So now they're going to go and diagnose you with something else and put you on another medication. This is what is happening to our elderly and basically society. You know, people are on so many drugs now, and so somebody, my neighbor was telling me a few years ago. I had a neighbor that was telling me how a family member her family member had worked for a pharmaceutical company of some sort where they created medication, and they were submitting this medication, and they told them it didn't have enough side effects. They had to bring it back when it had more side effects. They weren't accepting it because it didn't cause enough side effects. Okay? So just remember, and our doctors, and this is going to trigger people probably, but that's okay. It is what it is. Our doctors are pretty programmed by big pharma. Because big pharma funds the FDA, and they basically went and dine our doctors and push all these prescriptions to get them to push these different prescriptions. And nobody is held responsible for the deaths that these are causing, and creating more illness and more illness and more illness. We already have the cures to everything. They will not release those because they don't get to profit off of them. They don't get to hold you in illness, and as long as they hold you sick, they can continue to profit off everybody. Number 18 is, again, separation is an illusion. And I will explain this in another video. It's not everybody can get it if they're not at the right energetic place to understand this concept. But just understand that separation is an illusion. So anything that causes separation mentality is not of love, and it is not of God. Okay, so be conscious. The whole point of number 18 is to be conscious of your actions and what effect it has on others. What effect does it have on other people, on animals, and on the earth, and the universe in general, Because if you love yourself, you know that when you hurt other things and other beings, you're really hurting yourself. Did I say that right? Let me repeat that. if you really love yourself, you understand that you are one. And if you are hurting another being, you are really hurting yourself, and vice versa. The separation between you and everybody you know, including animals and the earth, is an illusion that you are just not able to see with your limited senses of light. I will go over this in a video or tag the thing. We are only able to see less than 1% really of what is. Our visual senses cannot even perceive what really is, okay? The illusion, which causes the illusion that we are separate from one another. There is no separation. And that is a very confusing concept if you've never heard that before and you don't have the understanding of how all this works. But as long as you have the intention to understand how the universe works and how everything is connected, you'll get there. So, and I'm trying to help those who are ready. So, and like I said, not all this information I'm giving out today, not everybody is ready for. And that's okay. This is here for those who are ready for it. Now, if you got any value out of this video, it would be very helpful to me if you liked, subscribed, and also I'd love to hear your comments, where you're at, what stood out to you, what areas you may be having issues with in your life that I brought up. Or ask questions. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Thank you. See you in the next video.